folks, has been a little bit off topic. Hopefully you all got a little something out of a trip around southwestern Scotland and some of the kind of cool places we went to. Yeah, it was a very nice trip. It was well needed, nice little break. We got a lot accomplished. Visited with a lot of family, and yeah, long overdue, put it that way. And yes, we've committed to being back across in 2027, so 2 years from now we'll be back over. So yeah, Piper Doug's gonna do better at getting away. That's a big one. Get away and get back over to see family and just downtime. Well, and still go and see a bunch of places and whatnot. So yeah, we're gonna get to. I've got to run up to the hospital because I've got a B12 injection booked for ASAP. It is just after. Well, it's actually lunchtime as we speak. So I'm going up to get my B12 injection, and then we will go do a tour. I've assured everybody is good. The only thing we have is we have a lame calf by the house. I've got to go and check and just see if it needs any medication. They said it was seeming better than it was when they first noticed it was limping. So we'll do that, and we'll bring you back. So thanks again. Well, I think it's fair to say that the early stuff that was cut and grew back 2 weeks ago before we left, she is full flowered. The smell is incredible. Oh, I miss this. I wish I could do smell-a-rama from her dad. Smell that alfalfa. Now, I'm not going to say alfalfa is more my favorite smell than the smell of the fresh ocean breeze, but it's a pretty dang close second. She must be 70, 80% flowered now. If you look there, you see how the tree rows were cut early. The other stuff's starting to flower now, but that'll be pretty short. All that stuff will get cut in a little while with the snow catchers, but we'll be cutting here right away. Yeah, that's really good. Stuff is slowly coming back. So yeah, the ravine that they just came out of 2 weeks ago, you can sort of see green coming back on it because they've had over an inch of rain since we left. Still not a lot of water in the creek. The paddocks are really coming back nice, but the cows have been out of the paddocks for a while. These ones have been out of for quite a while. Number two, they've been out of for ages. So that was the first one. It's really good. And there's the bee babbies. So they've still got lots in there. Yeah, they'll be ranging in there for a while. And then this is starting to come back. The golden girls haven't been in here for 3 weeks now. So they'll be glad to get back out there. It's ironic that I shut them out of here, and then that's when the old girl and her calf, the old girl who's been euthanized now, yeah, there was that drama. I'll fill you in a second. And now that she's gone, her calf was already stealing from one of the other cows. Her calf's lame now, so I've got to go check that. I think I talked about that already, but I'll bring you back when we get down there. So here we're coming to the silage field. This was the stuff that was earliest cut. And yeah, see, it's here it definitely is sporadic because I was turning on the headlands. This field, the whole field will be getting cut for second cut. As you can see, the main trunk of the field is coming back really good. There's the odd low spot, but yeah, it's ready to come down now. It is Yeah, it's 80% flowered. Like I said, you get this stuff that's lighter here, where there's not much, but has now come on since the rain happened. See the paddock? It's looking really nice. When we pull the girls off of the south farm to give it a rest, we'll probably bring them up here to chew that down, and then we'll spread poop out here. Oh yeah, there's a good pile there. So that's the only problem, is the hoppers have done a number on that stuff. Anywhere the grass is hasn't come back a whole lot, sadly. Anyway, we'll see if I can get down there. I know it's been wet enough that it's made the summer road sloppy, so we'll see. Oh, it smells gorgeous. Oh, this Shire. Sad to leave Scotland, but glad to be home. Getting excited for fall work, fall projects. Pull the bulls in a week or two. Yeah. I saw some creatures. There are some creatures out here. Here we go. Yeah, I can see them coming in the back window. Hey, babies. Hey, creatures. Here's the creatures. Got to climb the gate. There's some storms looking. Storms are brewing. Hey, boo. Hey, babies. Here's Phoenix. Hi, Phoenix. Hi. Where's the babies? Hey, Scully. Hey, Scully. See? I'm not a monster. Hey? Hey, girl. Sweet girl, Maya. Everybody's been wanting to know how Chancer's doing. He's a beast. Aren't you? Look at that chunky monkey. Look at the size of that boy. Looks like I gotta fill the fly thing up again. I see flies on him. Pretty bad. Hey, Chance. I'll get the sprayer. I'll bring the spray gun out and get you guys done tomorrow. Hey, buddy. Hi. You big guy. Still got a slow puncture on this one. It's had it ever since it came back from loaning it out. I can't see where it's coming from, so I might end up just having to take it over to the tire shop before we get into too much more poop spreading. So yeah, we got a little bit more net wrap on it before the end of season last year, but not too bad. But like I said, I'd like to try and get into the poop spreading as sharp as possible. That's my little mobile air compressor unit. Just one of those carpenter's compressors, and I just built that little buggy just to move it around. So gonna run the old girl back to the farm so it's closer to the airline. Water, and we got flowers. So yeah, we're going to be cutting as soon as we know what this rain is doing tomorrow. They're calling for rain at daybreak, but the forecast says 55%. The 24-hour rain map says only 25% at daybreak, so I just need to know if there's anything later in the day. Because if not, time to start dropping second cut. Because if we can get it down here pronto, and then, you know, who knows, maybe we get a little bit more moisture, we might be able to skin off a little bit of a third cut, make up a couple dozen bales. Would be mighty nice. But I just gonna take a quick drive around the section, lay eyes on the girls, and then I'm gonna do a quick hop over to Rivers and pop in and see some friends. They're having the Caldwell Arabic yearly summer bash, where they get together for the afternoon by the pool. I quite often don't get to stay at it because, well, we're always doing this. And then we always have like a Christmas gathering as well. So it's like every 6 months we get to get everybody together. So I'm going to just pop up here, fingers crossed. Everybody is doing what needs to be done. Yeah, see this hayfield down here is very sporadic. It's hard to cut because you get the alfalfas in clumps, which is a bit of a nuisance, but I'll still make some bales. I wonder why that girl's off by herself up there. Huh. Strange. Well, there's some spread out. So I still got to cut this last strip along the road down here. So, girls look happy. They're not just strip grazing, they're my girls. Georgie's kid, that's the troublemaker. Make sure there's no little beggars across the road too. Nuisancers. Yeah. I don't see anybody. Good. Just saying this, once this fence is finished, there'll be no chance of any little escapees, but as far as I know, while I've been gone, there's been good. We'll put it that way. Fingers crossed, good. So they're still pretty good down here for another week or two, but we might roll them through just that way that they're not just getting too used to this. So it looks like they've been hanging out down here in this corner. See, it's quite threadbare. But that's also because there's cows and a bull down here, so they might be just standing hollering at each other. I swear I see tracks there though. Anyway, off we go. Fire in the hole! Well, gotta go fill up with the motion potion. I got the warning that I'm slightly low in hydraulic oil, which for this thing is pretty good because it leaks. Like I said, I've got a leak over there that needs a seal on that header drive. That one I think is good. It's got a slight bit of weight, but that one definitely leaks. Curtis was supposed to come from Mazers to start going over some of the lists that he'd made on this machine, but he has not made it down, and this thing, touch wood, hasn't had too many hissy fits, so I'm going to fill it up with fuel and then we'll park it over there and go over the blades and grease it up and get it ready to go. Second cutting. Whoop whoop. Well folks, she was short-lived. Started digging everything out, getting the greasing going. I was starting to chip all the dirt out from along there so I could maybe flip the blades, because some of them are a little duller than others. Just figured might just flip the blades anyway, because I won't be cutting too much more. So I was doing the greasing and I was like, that chain seems a bit slack. I seem to be able to see a lot more of that hatch up there than I should normally. Yeah, the bearing's gone on the main cross auger. So, replace it again. That bearing, I did it 2 years ago. Seems like 2 years as long as that bearing goes. Ironically, the bearing on this side, I've done it once. So, not sure why this one likes to eat it up, but I do notice it pushes a lot more chaff and stuff up against this side, so. Anyway, let's take her apart. Something's stinging me in my shoulder. Ah. We have a stalemate. Being an absolute a-hole. And it's just hardly enough to get the jaws on there. Next step is getting the grinder in there and chewing off one edge. Oh. I was speaking nicely about you. New Holland. Honest to gosh. Boss lady and Christina come back, and I've been fighting this for like an hour, and she comes to see how it's going, walks away, and then it comes off. Honestly, magical powers. Got her hot. Well, that is the dangest thing. Pay attention to that. Yes, that is supposed to slide up and down. That is to set the bottom. So this comes down, but it pivots on this and it rides up and down. We don't need to go any different than that. This is what happens when your chain breaks and it goes down behind the sprocket and it wraps up, and then it comes down here and annihilates that. But we don't need it, so that's not what we're talking about. What I'm talking about is my dad came to save the day. Dad's asking, well, how did I do that? This is another one of the bearings from his workshop over at the other farm. It's off a John Deere. It's on a John Deere box anyway. And it has where are they? They're up there. That part in the middle of the thing, it has the two bearing clamps. They come together and grab that. And then it's perfect size. That's crazy. Like the chances of that are just crazy. Crazy. I was crazy once. So there we go. I have a bearing. I can put it back together, and fingers crossed, if we don't get much rain tonight, we'll be cutting tomorrow. Cutting! That's what I want to be doing, is cutting. I think this chain is going to be changed at the end of this season. It's a little bit saggy. This is one where it'd be nice to have an oiler, but it gets a lot of abuse out here. That's why you end up with things like this. Yeah. Okay, well, I'm going to start putting this back together. Well, that's her. It's back together. The band is back together again. So when I start it up tomorrow, I can pour oil on the chain because it does run very slowly. So I can get that done. This jigger's down here. I've already topped up the tire, and so this is just to grease and check over, and then it'll be ready to go back into service in the interim between cuts and baling and moving cows and such like. Oh well, I'm glad to be home, folks. I had a lovely trip. I had a great time. It was very cathartic. So great to see family, especially Dad. Very proud of him. He's got a lovely place there on the ocean front there. Talk about a great place to retire to. So I'm going to put a little video in at the end of this, and it's at one of the trips we did with Dad. So the background story is that if any of you have ever seen the movie Braveheart, William Wallace, very historic figure, Scottish history. So that was around 1305 is when he paid the ultimate price for his patriotism. That's very telling in today's history. So one of the eagles. Anyway, so secondary backstory is back in very olden times, swords were a bit of a, you had to be someone very important to actually have a good sword. So quite often people had fighting sticks, canes, staffs. And so most people would have a staff, and plus certain times in history when you had like invaders like the English in Scotland, you were outlawed from having a sword. So a lot of people would have sticks, staffs to fight with. And some of them you could do a lot of damage with. You could crack a skull. Segue to this story. So there is a legend that Wallace had a staff. And through following lineage from Wallace, because Wallace had no sons, legendary, didn't have any kids, but there is local legend because Wallace family, the Caldwells, my family, owned farms all around where Wallace and the Wallace family grew up. So legend has it, at a certain point, my family is descended from the Wallace line. Segue to this video. So Dad had a shepherd's crook cane with the curved handle for hooking sheep. And it was from a line of the family which was parallel to the Wallace line. And a cousin of his, who they were in ownership of the Wallace staff. Now, we have as much, if not more, claim to the staff as what they do. So Dad gave them the shepherd's hook, crook, staff, cane. So we went to see the staff, and it was like, it's not a fancy looking thing, but it wouldn't be. Very heavy, very dense wood, and it's hard to tell in the video, but it's about 4.5 feet tall, and it's round except for the last 6 inches is round. The rest of it has a ridge that runs the full length of the stick. You might be able to pick it up on the screen. So that would be basically the part of the stick that would act like the edge of a knife, edge of a sword, that would crack bones. So take from it what you will. A lot of Scottish history is a lot of hearsay, a lot of passed on by word of mouth, but there is a lot of loose data to back that up. We'll leave it at that. So I'm going to stick the video in at the end, have a wee watch at it, and I know Shane Caldwell will probably get a good kick out of this. So yeah, like I said, thanks for clicking on the video. I'm glad to be back. We'll get back to normal scheduled videoing. I got the yard all slapped back into shape. It had grown a bit. We had over an inch. We had about 1.1 inches of rain since we left, which is great. And we might be shaping up to have a bit more. So hopefully you come back and visit us in the next video. We sure do love to have you come visit us in the Shire here at Descendants of William Wallace. So, tidy bye for now.
That's right, and our fluted races.
No, it's seeing that lovely chap
I know.
where the wedding was.
I know. It's an eyesore now.
Was it vandalism? Or was it they were
No.
taking it down anyway?
I think so. Well, I don't know if they can take it right down.
No,
You see, if
well,
it's
well,
maybe why it's the way it is.
Aye.
I don't know.
Well, you've got an appointment.
No, I'm just going to a friend's.
Aye, well, I don't
Desperate
want
rush, no.
We can go
Told
for a
her I
wee
would
walk
be
if
when I
we-
came,
if
but
We could just go for a wee walk ourselves, do something else before we go for the family meal, yeah.
to. Aye, if we go home just now.
Yeah,
Aye.
I'm just meant to go to Maiden's maybe on the
Aye.
beach, you quite like walking around, so we can do
oh,
that rather than
I go to Maidens a lot and
It's a
walk
lovely
along
place,
the beach.
yeah.
It's
Ah,
lovely.
I keep persuading them to just get a wee house down by there so we can just wander up
I
to the
know.
woods.